Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I am your host, Randi-lee. On today's episode, I am going to be talking to Khadijah Wynter. Welcome, Khadijah. Super excited to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And I have to say, I am loving your hair.
So I love to do different funky colors. So right now it's red. I did purple for like a month.
Oh,
And then,
purple runs out so fast.
yes, but I feel so the plan was to have it for 3 months. It only lasted for a month. Bummer. And prior to that, I tried like a dark blue.
Oh, I've done that before too.
Yeah, so I love trying different colors to see how it goes with me.
Yeah. The last one I had in was actually like a super light blue, which
Mm-hmm.
did not last very long at all. A month if I was lucky.
Figured.
But now that it's summer and I'm going swimming all the time, I'm gonna wait to after summer to dye my hair, and that way it's not all like chloriney and stuff.
Yeah, so I think the next time I would probably do a different color would be October, where it's deep into fall,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
probably do like a fall color like burnt orange or
Mm,
like a reddish brown, something with a fall theme.
nice. Yeah, I'm thinking dark blue. I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy the dark blue, so that's what I'm thinking. I keep going back and forth though, because once I go dark, I'm never gonna go light again because it was so much work to go light. Because like you can see
Mm-hmm.
my roots, like naturally I have very dark hair, so
Mm-hmm.
it was a real pain going to get to the light colors. And I'm only blonde because like the purples and the blues they run out.
Yeah. That's the sad part.
Exactly. So I guess enough about hair, and we should get on with the show. So tell us a little bit, other than hair stuff, a little bit about who you are.
So I am a new up and coming author. I'm from Florida, Florida at heart, Miami to be specific. I love writing. I love reading. I kind of love the world that books take you on and the adventure it leads you. So when I was younger, I discovered, the love for reading, and my parents' poor pockets had to fund fund my habit. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it adds up after a while, but I loved it, so they just kept doing it for me.
And how can you say no to a kid who wants to read? Like,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. That's what my dad used to say. He's like, your siblings have sports, you have books. So he's like, it's an even trade-off.
It really is, because sports are not cheap.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, my cousin right now, he was saying the same thing. He's like, at the rate that the kids reading them at, he's like, what are we supposed to do? We can't keep up with them.
So yeah, that's pretty much all about me. And let's see, I also have three older brothers, of course, all with family, all with kids in different states from me. Um,
Okay,
yeah, but that's pretty much all about me.
nice. All right, so then let's get into the juicy stuff and talk about mental health.
Okay.
So, what mental health are we going to be talking about today?
So for me, it would be social anxiety.
Okay.
So I struggle with social. Well, I do. Um, since my junior year in high school is when I first noticed it, but it hasn't really been an ongoing battle until I got into and was away from home, away from everyone, and that's when it was like maybe I should talk to someone about this because what I'm feeling probably can't be normal.
Yeah. So, what were you feeling? Can you describe that?
So for me, it was pretty much the thought of going to sessions or having to speak to someone I don't know or having to interact with more than three people, it would bring me anxiety where I have to question myself, do I really want to do this? I do this, like maybe I should cancel. Maybe I shouldn't go out there. You don't know what can happen. I don't know what I'm going to say to them. I don't really know them. What if I say something crazy or stupid? What if they don't like me? So that's some of the, the thoughts that run through your head when you have social anxiety. So
Okay. And
yeah.
what did it ever actually stop you? Like, did you start canceling plans and stuff?
So I've when you're away from home and you have like, I would say no one to call you out on it. I would
Yeah.
just, I would just be like, maybe not today. Okay, I'm gonna this time, but next time I'm gonna do it for sure. So I would
Yeah.
cancel, and the next time will come around, and then I'm going through the cycle once again, and I'm debating, oh, should I cancel? Yeah, I'm gonna cancel. Um, Maybe next time would be better.
Yeah.
So it was just an ongoing cycle over and over again. Um,
Yeah, I
it
love
took.
how you're saying, you don't have somebody call you out, because as soon as you said that, I thought of my best friend, and she's probably going to watch this episode. I think she watches all of them. And yeah, I like, we'll text back and forth, even if we haven't seen each other in a few weeks. And it's not like we even live far away, but life. And we'll just like, hey, how's it going? And whenever I get that, it's almost like indirectly calling me out, because it's always for whatever reason. It's like she's got a sixth sense or something. It's always at a time that I'm like putting something off or trying to cancel something. And then I'm like,
Mhm,
oh, maybe this is a sign I'm not supposed
mhm. Yeah. So for me, I ended up befriending one of my neighbors. Well, she befriended
to.
me in
Good.
college. She lived downstairs from me, and she's like, "Yeah, we hang out." I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." And then when she went to her apartment, I went to mine. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, another person I have to interact with." But she was so nice, and I was like, "Oh my god." Um, Same time, so she's like, "Hey, let's grab dinner." I was like, "Okay, yeah, that would be awesome." And I got dressed and I'm sitting in front of my door and I'm pacing back and forth. I'm like, maybe I should go. She's really nice. And then I'm thinking, I don't know. What am I gonna say? I just met her 2 days ago. So
Well, then you have lots to say
uh,
because she doesn't know you.
yeah, so it when it came to like 7 o'clock, she asked me, but I didn't respond because I was still going back and forth. And then she knocked on my door. And I'm like, hey, she's like, you ready? I'm like, just about. She's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, okay, you can go grab food from anywhere you want. It's completely up to you. And I'm just, just along for the ride. So I was like, in that moment, I was like, okay, I can do this. She
Yeah.
seems really cool, down to earth, chilled, and I guess she was picking up on my vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was that moment I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be a while, but I'm gonna do this.
Yes. I love that. And it's like, it's talking about fear, really, like anxiety. um the way that you're talking, it's this fear of saying something wrong, doing something wrong, and people then
Hmm.
end up hating you, even though it's completely false lies that our brain likes to tell us. But
Hmm.
a lot of times we come up against stuff that we are afraid of in life, whether it's because of anxiety or because it's new things can be scary, or change, whatever it happens to be. And sometimes having that other person just be like, let's just do it, let's go, can really calm you and just give you that extra push, except when it's
Absolutely,
skydiving. So
absolutely. So
I'm going to digress for one
rationally,
second. I have
hmm
a very funny story. Well, I think it's funny. I don't know if
okay.
anybody else does, but I'm going to tell it. So I was, we were golfing with my in-laws last weekend, and where we
Hmm.
were golfing, it was really close to where the like skydivers go, the parachuters, and so we could see them
Hmm.
jumping out the plane. And so I'm like, yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. And then my husband was talking about how when we first started dating, at Canada's Wonderland. It's a amusement park kind of near me. When we're at Canada's
Hmm.
Wonderland, they have this big like bungee jumping thing. So it takes you up really high, and then you have to pull the cord, and then you swing down. So I was like, "Hey, you want to do that? It looks like fun." And he's like, still trying to impress me, because nowadays I don't think he'd agree to it. So we go on, and you had to pay extra for it. So we go up, go up, go up. We're at the top, and the little intercom comes on and says, okay, you can pull the cord. And the cord was on my side to pull. And I go, this is a lot higher than I thought it was. So here I am. I'm the one wanting to do this. And then I'm freaking out at the top because it's way higher than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And my husband, who wanted nothing to do with it, but he's up there with me. He's like, well, you might as well pull it now because it's the only way we're getting down. So I pull it and I go and have so much fun. So I tell this story because your roles can reverse, right? Like I was the one that was excited for something. And that can happen even if you have anxiety or depression or whatever, right? You get excited about something, but when it comes time to do it, then the anxiety kicks in, then something else kicks in. So even though my husband didn't want to do it, he was that voice of reason at the top of that drop saying, well, we might as well just do it now. So your friend was that person at the top of that drop going, let's just go. We'll just go have fun. And really it doesn't take a lot to be a good friend or be that person to just say, let's just try it. Let's just try it.
Absolutely. I agree. So, I mean, rationally, that your thoughts are like, it's okay. Things happen, but it's just getting in the midst of that social anxiety where things are like, oh, okay. Yeah, this might happen. Being interacting with someone. But rationally, you're like, oh, anything could happen. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. It's just when those thoughts, when one overpowers the other.
Yeah, exactly. And it can be really hard to stop those thoughts or to change those thoughts.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That's my little segue into how have you changed your thoughts?
I notice when you're constantly making yourself aware that it can make it a little bit easier. So being aware that, yes, anything in social interactions is not the end of the world. If something happens that I don't agree with or that I feel like I'm myself, it's not the end of the world. Things happen. And there's plenty of people in the world that has done it. And I find like nowadays, giving myself a prep talk before I go out or as I'm walking to my car to leave, giving myself a prep talk like, it'll be fine. You can do this. You know this person. Or if I don't know the person, well, you have someone on speed dial just in case. It'll be okay. Just making sure I'm aware that anything can happen, but I can control what happens next.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, especially if you're in a situation, and I like how you said, you have your speed dial, so you can make a phone call, you can just leave the room. Like there's things that you can do, and I love that. So what else, when you started really noticing that this was affecting you, like to the extreme, what steps did you take to help yourself?
So, actually, my friend I met in college, Quinn, who suggested, hey, why don't you just go speak to one of the therapists or psychologists that's on campus? It's included in your tuition. You might as well use it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a great idea. I think I'll do it. So I end up making an appointment, and then I was outside of the office and I was pacing, and I'm like, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe I should just cancel. So then this random guy just walks up to me. He's like, hey, first time? And I'm like, yeah, it is.
How could you tell?
He's like, because you can always tell a first time. You're going through the motions of wanting to cancel. I'm like, yeah, I am. I just don't know if this is exactly for me. So he's like, is there anything specific you were going in for? I'm like, this is before I pinpointed, or we pinpointed it down to social anxiety. I'm like, I have really bad anxiety. It's kind of affecting like my day to day. So that was the point of me going in. So he's like, well, I can tell you that help and speak one was the best decision I made because I was your age. And he's like, he went through anxiety and depression.
Okay.
My age, he finally made the decision to go in. He's like, if it helps, then great. If it doesn't, at least you tried. And then he went into the
I love
office.
that.
Yeah, he went into the office, left me standing out there. So I had an alarm set for 10 minutes before my appointment. So it went off, and I'm thinking, am I going to do this? And I was like, okay, forget it. I'm just going to go in. Whatever happens, happens.
Yep.
So I went in, I went to the desk, and they were like, of course, we have someone that's going to meet with you. So he'll be out any minute. So waited a few more minutes, still debating if I wanted to stay. And then the guy I was speaking to outside came out. And he's like, hey.
I was wondering.
And I was like, he's like, yeah. He's like, I didn't want to introduce myself as a doctor and it also was you. And I was like, understandable.
I love it. So not only did you make that decision, but you already had like that little mini interaction with him that I'm guessing kind of already put you at ease with him because he seemed like kind of chill.
Yes. So going in and going back to his office, it put me at ease because it's like, okay, so this first introduction went quite well, even though I was freaking out and he was the calm one. But it kind of just put me at ease. So by the time I got to the office and sat down, and he was like, "Do you want to just sit and chat for a second?" And I'm like, "No, might as well just dig into it."
Yeah, I love that. So you keep saying I might as well do this, and I have that same kind of mindset a lot of times if I'm debating should I not, or whatever, and it just comes down to, well, I'm already here, I might as well do it, or I've already paid for the appointment, I might as well do it.
Yeah.
Right. So my first time going to therapy was a might as well do it moment too. I had made the appointment. I knew I needed therapy. I drive all the way there, 20 minutes, drive there, park the car, take a few deep breaths, go, do you want to go in? So kind of like what you were doing, do you want to go in? And then I went, well, I can't cancel now and get my money back. So even though okay, so here's a big misconception, little tangent here. There's a big misconception about Canada's healthcare system. It is not preventative. So I say that because for like psychologists and that therapy and stuff, there are some free programs with waitlist and stuff, but to get a true psychologist, you're paying for them, which I have absolutely no problem doing. But that's what I'm saying, it's not preventative, right? Like if I would have actually attempted to hurt myself, the hospital stay would have been free. So that's what I mean. So I'm thinking in my head, well, you have to cancel, I think it was like 48 hours notice. Well, this is like 4 minutes. So if I canceled, I'm still paying the $200. So I might as well go in and do it.
Absolutely. I think during that initial phase of trying to like speak to someone, get a handle on it, that was my go-to phase. Like, I might as well do it. Well, you might as well already here. Do it. So one of my friends, Quinn, again, figured out that maybe we should prepay for something. So I was like, oh, and in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to prepay so I can't cancel on her.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a great tip for everybody who is watching or listening to the show right now. If you're struggling to, make that commitment or you go back and forth, well, you can use our little trick of might as well do it because you're already there, or you've already paid for it, or whatever it might be. I've used that trick too sometimes if it's like I've told the person, okay, I'm going to be there at 2:00 and it's say 1:30, and I know that they would have had to already leave their house to get there. So I can't cancel on them now because that would just be super rude if I already know they've left their house to meet me.
Yep,
I might as well do it.
absolutely.
That is a great tip for everybody listening. Might as well do it. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So, okay, how long did you go to therapy for?
Ooh. So after my first appointment, I sat for a week trying to figure out if I wanted to continue or not. But then I'm like, well, I already started. I might as well do it.
Yes!
So,
The name of your
so
episode? Might as well do it.
exactly, exactly. So I went to this particular therapist for 6 months.
Okay.
And then so I was moving back home, graduated,
Mhm.
and I was going through, oh man, do I want to change therapists? Do I have to start this all over again back in Florida? So after speaking to John about it, he was like, hey, I can run through some people, speak to some friends, see who they would recommend, and then I'll give you some people to choose from, and
Oh,
it will basically fall in your lap. So he's
that's
like,
good.
you make the final decision,
Mhm.
and if you want to do it, then you already have everything you need. If you don't, well, you want to try it again later on, you still have all the information you need. So thinking in my head, like, if you give this to me, I might as well do it because
Yes.
all your hard work, all your hard work to this. So I wouldn't want it to be wasted. So
Mhm.
I'm saying that in my head. I'm like, okay, yeah, you can do it. I'll let you know. And I'm walking out my appointments like, you figured me out.
Oh, I love that. So that's great. So you did then, when you got back to Florida, you did find somebody?
Yeah, I did find somebody.
Awesome. All right. So what kind of coping strategies, other than might as well do it, what kind of coping strategies have you learned that work really well for you?
So meditation is a great tool.
Mhm.
So is yoga. I find that so I try to do yoga at least 3 times a week.
Okay.
And then I notice that if I start my day off with meditation, whether it's, underground, full yoga pose, or just laying on my back in bed, just breathing and meditating before I get out and start my day,
Mhm.
that it kind of makes the odds of me having, that panic attack or that anxiety fear going down. So
Oh,
I try
good.
to start, yeah, I try to start every morning, and then yoga in the evenings 3 times a week. It really helps. Or just taking a moment to read either on my patio or just taking a walk or even a drive and just complete silence, just thinking or just like kind of marinate on the day, or
Yeah.
even it works the best when I know a big social event is coming up and
Okay.
find my way out of. So going on a walk and just thinking, or going on a drive and thinking before going to, the events,
Mhm.
it tends to help tremendously.
That is awesome. I'm so glad that you figured that out for you. And
Thank
so,
you.
is there anything else you want people to know about social anxiety?
Um, yes, your thoughts, although your thoughts are irrational, for you it is rational. That coping and managing with it is completely doable. That see, my one of my greatest fears was like being looked down on or being side eye.
One of these.
So by the time,
One of those.
so by the time when I finally decided, okay, I'm gonna do something about it, um, I felt like I should have done something about it way sooner. That all my irrational thoughts about being looked down on or side eyed or thought about being for having this was basically just irrational. And it was
Yeah.
all, yeah, it was all in my head. Seeking help immediately, or even just finding a friend to talk to, or finding a way to cope or professional help, which I definitely recommend, it would help your social interaction or your mental health struggle tremendously.
That is some more awesome advice. And I totally am on board with you on that one. Professional help is, well, I'm looking for a different word other than helpful because I just said that. But really, it's ideal. There you go.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so tell us a little bit about what you've written.
Oh, my book is called The Mafia Princess, which comes out this August 2021. It will be released in Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, and I'm trying to sneak in a couple of stores in different states and sign some copies and just hide it around the bookstore.
Oh,
So if
that'd be so cool. You just go and randomly find a signed copy.
yes, so I kind of want to make it a treasure hunt. So if you
That is
find the
cool.
signed copy, then I will get on a Zoom call with you. Um, yeah, it's about a mafia princess named Angelica who's essentially trying to maneuver through the mafia world, which is a men-run world. All the men call the shots, they make all the moves, they make all the money,
Yeah.
and she essentially wants to stand up and be like, okay, I can do it just like you can. And in certain situations, I can do it better. I can take care of myself and I can tote my gun just like you. And I can speak my mind and get out of certain situations just as well as you. It
Yeah.
doesn't make me lesser than for being a woman in this world.
That is very woman empowerment, but like a cool twist with the mafia thing.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that sounds exciting.
Thank you.
Um, so yeah, that by the time this episode airs, it's definitely going to be out everywhere. So make sure that you pick up your copy. And where can people follow you?
So you can follow me on Instagram, which is at underscore Khadijah Wynter author. And then my Twitter handle, which is underscore that author Khadijah.
Excellent. And those links will be down in the description below. So everyone can very easily click and follow you. Because I definitely don't think that people will be able to know how to spell your name unless they
Absolutely.
have like really good understanding of where it comes from. It's so cool though. I really like it.
Thank you.
I feel like there was something else I was gonna ask, but I don't know what. So thank you, Khadijah, so very much for being on the show.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Bye.
Have a good one.
Make sure that you check out Khadijah's links down below in the description. Give her a follow. I already follow her on Instagram. So there you go. And I don't have Twitter. So make sure you pick up a copy of her book. And that link is also down in the description below. Hit that like and subscribe button here at the channel. Show us some love. Share these episodes out to everybody you know because this information is so important to share out. Mental health is something we need to talk about. And so a great way that you can help support is to just subscribe and share. If you're looking for other ways to support the channel, we do have a Patreon page that you can go over there and subscribe, as well as a merch store where 10% of the proceeds go back to the Canadian Mental Health Association. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.